right, this is Chapter 8, Lesson 6. So what we're going to be doing here is finding areas. So I want you to go ahead and write your objectives. Students will use formulas to find the area of basic two-dimensional figures such as rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, squares, and triangles. So we're going to work on finding area. Okay, so for example 1, the first one is the area of a parallelogram, which is pretty much the same as the area of a square or a rectangle. I think that's it. Oh, and a triangle, except half the base times the height. So anyway, parallelogram, rectangle, square, same thing. Okay, not that they're the same object, but we use the same formula for finding the area of them. So make sure you write all this down. Somebody told me yesterday they weren't sure what to write down because I didn't highlight anything. So make sure you write everything down, draw the shape, write the height and the length, parallelogram formula, area equals base times height. So 6 is the base, 3 is the height, so 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, so the area is 18 square units on this one. In example 1, letter B now, so you don't have to rewrite letter B, but you just have to do the new shape, which is a trapezoid. Trapezoid formula. Make sure you write the formula. Area is half of the base plus the other base times the height. Area is half. One base is 4. Another base is 2. And the height is the perpendicular line, so that's 3. Okay? So base 1 is 4, base 2 is 2, and the height is 3. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we have half of 6 times 3. Half of 6 is 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so we have 9 square units. Okay, so make sure you wrote all that down. Get this too, because I want to make sure you guys get that all of that is together. And this is another thing. I want to show you another way to write this area. So of a trapezoid, we know the area is half of one base plus the other, and then multiply that times the height. Another way of writing this is add the bases, divide them by 2, that's the same as multiplying by a half, and then multiply all this by the height. So that's another way of writing it. Either way is fine, both are correct. Example 2, finding the area of a polygon. So what if the polygon isn't like a clear trapezoid or a clear square or a clear rectangle? So what we're going to do here is we are going to find two figures here. Okay? So I have two shapes here. If I draw a line right there, dividing it in half, right? I have this shape, which is a rectangle. And then I have this shape over here, which is a trapezoid. All right? We have two different bases. Okay? So, here we go. So the area of this one, we're going to use a trapezoid formula. Half of base 1 plus base 2. Base 1 is 4. Okay, so this is one base, 4. Base 2 is 7. So we have 4 plus 7. We're going to take half of that. This says half, so we're just going to bring it down half. And multiply times the height, which is 3. So we're basically looking at this figure turned on its side. Okay? So half is 3. Height, sorry, is 3. So 4 plus 7 is 11. So we're going to say half of 11 times 3. Half of 11 is 5 1/2. 5.5 times 3 is 16.5. All right? Alrighty then. Next one. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. We have to finish the parallelogram. So this part, so that was the trapezoid. This was the trapezoid. Okay? So now this is the parallelogram. The parallelogram is 3 times 4. Base times height. 3 times 4 is 12. So now we're going to take the two, the parallelogram and the trapezoid, and add them together. 16.5 plus 12. So we have 16.5 for the trapezoid plus 12 for the parallelogram for a total of 28.5. All right? So those are our two different shapes. So sometimes you have to draw, like I said, dividing lines, okay, to make two different shapes and then figure out the volume or the area, sorry, of each shape. And then add the two together. So let's look at example 3, area of a hexagon. The hexagon is divided into two trapezoids. So we're going to go ahead and use the formula for area of a trapezoid. Okay? So the hexagon is divided into two trapezoids. Find the area of the hexagon. So here's the trapezoid formula. One trapezoid, by the way, even though this is over here, they're just showing you this distance here. What they're trying to show you is you should see then that this is equal to from here to here. So this line here is the one that's 5. Okay? So if you look at this trapezoid, this is one base. So we're going to call this base 1. This is another base, so that's base 2. All right? And the height is from here to here is 3. So this is the height. So now we have our base 1, our base 2, and our height. Okay? So base 1 is 5. Base 2 is 2. So this is 2. This is 5. The height is 3. So we have half 5 plus 2 times 3. So 5 plus 2 is 7. So we have half of 7 times 3. Half of 7 is 3.5. 3.5 times 3 is 10.5. And we're multiplying by 2 here because we have two trapezoids. So I have this trapezoid. That's 1. So that one, the area of this one is 10.5. Area is 10.5 units squared. And then I have this trapezoid. And the area of that trapezoid is also 10.5 units squared because they're congruent. So I add the two together and I get 21. 10.5 plus 10.5 is 21 units squared, which is where my answer comes from. Okay? Here's your guided practice. Write the formula used and find the area of the polygon. Make sure you draw the polygon, please. The formula we're going to use is one side squared because all the sides of a square are equal. So we can do side times side. Side times side is the same as side squared. So 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9 units squared. Number 2, parallelogram, base times height. So we have base times height. The base is 6, the height is 4. So we have 24 units squared. Number 3, rectangle, base times height, or length times width, however you want to put it. So area equals base times height. Base is 7, height is 3.1. 7 times 3.1 is 21.7 units squared. Number 4, a triangle. The area of a triangle is half the base times the height. So half the base times the height, which is half of 10 times 11. Half of 10 is 5. 5 times 11 is 55 units squared. Number 5, we're going to divide this into two different objects. So I'm going to draw a dividing line here, and now I have a triangle and I have a rectangle. Okay? So I need the base and the height of my triangle. Well, I know this is equal to the other side, so I know this is 9. Now I have to figure out what this is. Well, I know from here to here is 14. And I know the whole thing is 17. So in other words, here all the way across to here is 17. So what I need to figure out is this little missing piece right here. How much is that one? Right? So 17 minus 14 is 3. So this must be 3 right here. So now I can find the area of my parallelogram or rectangle and the area of my triangle. So the formulas I'm going to use, well, they're using it like a trapezoid, which is also fine. You could do that too. And I'll show you both ways. So if I were using this like a trapezoid, it would be half, base 1 is 14, base 2 is 17, times the height, which is 9. 14 plus 17 is 31. Half of 31 is 15 and a half, times 9. 15 and a half times 9. Is 139 and a half units squared. So the other way I was going to do this is find the area first of the rectangle. So the rectangle is 14 times 9. So area is base times height, or 14 times 9, which is 126. And the area of the triangle is half the base times the height. So that would be half of 9 times 3. Okay? Half, 9 times 3 is 27, and half of 27 is 13.5. So I would just add 126 and 13.5, and I would get 139.5. So as you can see, both answers are the same. They match up, regardless of which way you do it. Okay? So that will be totally up to you. Thanks, you guys have a nice night, and I'll see you tomorrow.